When Kevon Looney stepped onto the Chase Center floor wearing a visitor's jersey, a sudden, unified cheer erupted from the scorer's table area. This was the same man who once broke his ribs for the Golden State Warriors, who battled until his shoulder popped out, now standing there, smiling at it all. He lifted his hand and pointed toward the rafters, replaying 10 years of youth and devotion in this team. "Thank you, Looney." That's what every Warriors fan has wanted to say to him. 10 years, Kevon Looney spent a full decade with the Golden State Warriors. So when the new season arrived and you didn't see Looney on the Warriors bench, something instantly felt off. And in truth, Looney was essentially pushed out by the Warriors. This summer, when Kevon Looney hit free agency, the Warriors didn't offer him a contract. And Looney realized, this team didn't need him anymore. He once thought the team truly believed in him, but he never expected he'd be the first one they'd let go. Starting last season, Looney went from being an Iron Man of the league to being glued to the bench, barely seeing the floor. For so many years, Looney had always been the Warriors' most reliable big in their biggest games. But last year's playoffs arrived, and he didn't get meaningful minutes at all. Even Looney himself knew he should have been on the court, battling Steven Adams, but the front office chose to believe in the young guys instead, leaving Looney pinned to the bench. Yet Looney felt that his entire Warriors career had been built on playing those exact tough playoff minutes. And in the 2024-25 postseason, he averaged only 10 minutes per game. So when free agency arrived this summer, the Warriors front office didn't even consider offering him a mid-level contract. They opted for what they considered a more cost-efficient approach, a minimum deal. In their eyes, that's all Kevon Looney was worth now. Now let's go back to the 2015 NBA draft. That night, Kevon Looney sat anxiously waiting for his name to be called. 3 hours passed, and he still hadn't heard it. His mother slipped into the bathroom, tears streaming down her face, praying because she believed her son didn't deserve this fate. Back in high school, Kevon Looney was a 5-star recruit, Wisconsin Mr. Basketball. Some scouts even called him the next Kevin Durant. But in his first year at UCLA, Looney suffered a severe hip injury, completely altering his basketball trajectory. He went from a unicorn who could play all 5 positions to a blue-collar big man with limited mobility. Maybe it was his mother's prayer, because not long after, Kevon Looney was selected 30th overall by the Golden State Warriors. It was 2015, the height of the Warriors dynasty. But none of that brilliance had anything to do with Looney. Fresh off hip surgery, he could only sit on the sidelines and study Draymond Green's screens over and over. His notebook was filled corner to corner with notes: hold the stun half a second longer on a Curry curl. Lower the hips on offensive rebounds. Assistant coach Mike Brown still remembers the rookie always walking over with a ball in his hands asking, "What can I do to help this team win?" During his first 2 seasons, Looney lived on the injury report. Before the 2017 playoffs, he even received word that the team was considering cutting him. That night, he stayed in the gym until 2 a.m., rehearsing screen and roll footwork against imaginary defenders. Sweat smudged across the court like a reminder that quitting wasn't an option. His turning point came in the 2017 finals. The team's center went down, and Looney was thrown into the fire. His 4 clutch offensive rebounds helped the Warriors secure the championship. Years later, Steve Kerr wrote in his memoir, "Looney was the first guy who truly understood sacrifice." He never complained about minutes. Give him 5 minutes, he'll give you 3 perfect screens and 2 box outs. In Game 2 of the 2019 Finals, Looney fractured his rib cartilage. The pain folded him in half. The medical team and coaching staff urged him to shut it down for the season, but the 23-year-old wrapped himself in layers of padding and kept testing his body, again and again. The Warriors were in crisis, Durant's Achilles torn, Clay's knee shot, and Looney was their last healthy big. During warm-ups of Game 4, Every jump made him clutch the basket stanchion to recover, but suddenly, he pushed off and hammered down a dunk. That game became the defining moment of his career. At halftime, teammates had to help him to the locker room. When he unwrapped the padding, the bruising had already crawled from his ribs all the way up to his underarm. Then came the summer of 2022, when centers around the league were chasing eight-figure deals. Looney didn't hesitate. He signed a 3-year, $25.5 million contract. His agent told him to wait. Looney simply pointed at the championship banners on the wall. "Money can't buy these." Early in his career, he battled through hip issues, got benched, split scraps of minutes with Pachulia, Cousins, and JaVale McGee. Then it was Jordan Bell, Damian Jones, and eventually James Wiseman. Warriors' big men rotated like a revolving door, but Kevon Looney stayed, always there, becoming the one irreplaceable constant. Though the spotlight rarely found him, he'd notice fans wearing number 5 jerseys in the stands, most with Baron Davis printed on the back. Looney never complained. This was the version of Looney that stayed with us. In 2018, slimmer and proving he could guard the Houston's point guard and beard duo on switches. In 2019, playing through fractured ribs. In 2020, when the dynasty looked shattered, becoming a leader in the locker room. And of course, we'll never forget the role he played in the 2022 championship run. Through the years, he's had teeth knocked out, a collarbone fractured, ribs broken. But Kevon Looney never backed away. Steve Kerr called him the team's moral compass, even placing Jonathan Kuminga's locker next to his. Whenever a young Warrior fell out of the rotation, the first person at their side was always Kevon Looney. He'd tell them, "It's not you, it's matchups, it's adjustments, don't let it mess with your confidence, keep believing." 10 years passed in a blink. When Kevon Looney returned to Chase Center, the arena showered him in thunderous applause. Those number 5 jerseys in the crowd? Now the name on the back wasn't Baron Davis, it was 3-time champion Kevon Looney. Some people say that one day, Looney might even have a statue. And if Steph Curry's statue is made of gold, Kevon Looney's would be forged from steel. When asked how he hopes to be remembered, Looney answered, "I would just like to be remembered as being a tough guy, a guy that showed up every night, a guy that brought his hard hat every night, a guy that never complained about anything." And during his 10 years with the Warriors, that's exactly who he was. May everyone who hears his story, everyone without the gifts, without the connections, without the headlines, learn from Looney. You don't control your circumstances. But you can control your work, your attitude, your toughness, and become the most dependable version of yourself.